Because you're telling me this married man came to you while he was cheating on his wife, and you didn't pray for his marriage, you prayed for him. She goes on to talk about how her biggest fear is being cheated on. So you married the man who cheated on his wife? There's a viral clip of her talking about how he had to show her his divorce papers. Yo, you got me out here looking crazy. Let me see the paperwork. So you wanted to verify that the man that you were comforting and counseling when he was cheating on his wife wasn't also cheating on you. And of course, they put God in it. And they talked about how the old her would have been like, I'm not messing with no man who cheated on his wife. But this version of her was able to comfort him and to pray with him.
Okay, this one might ruffle some feathers, but let's get into it. Hi guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Rhonda and this is Talks with Rhonda. It's been a very long time since I've done like a video like this for an African girl's perspective, but a topic finally came up that I felt like I really wanted to talk about, so here we are. I'm on my bed, not on a desk because I'm in my new apartment, but I'll be giving you guys updates on that. I'm doing a little vlog to show you guys, how I'm living on my own now and all of that. So without no further ado, let's get into today's video. I think I need to give you guys a little bit of background. I knew Adrienne Bailon, of course, from the Cheetah Girls and all of that. Was I a huge Cheetah Girls fan? I wouldn't say so. I would watch it when it would be on, but it wouldn't be something that I was obsessed with. I was specifically a Camp Rock stan. So the whole Demi Lovato and Joe Jonas moments we're having right now, it's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy. So I knew Adrienne from the Cheetah Girls. Then I saw her in Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it took me like 2 weeks to actually clock that it was the same girl. But what really made me fall in love with Adrienne was The Real. It was this talk show that ran through, I think 2014 to 2021. I might be wrong. I would correct it if I'm wrong. And actually that talk show was one of the reasons why I decided to create my YouTube channel, because I really loved the idea of women sitting down and giving their opinions on different matters. After the show ended, I started resonating way more with Adrienne as time went on because of like my Christian affiliation, how she's a business girl but doesn't want to take herself too seriously, her creativity. And one of the reasons why I was really resonated with her was because of her relationship. Adrienne Bailon married Israel Houghton. Can't pronounce his name, but it's something like that. And he's like this big gospel singer. Apparently I didn't know him before Adrienne, but he's a big gospel singer that has won a Grammy and that is well known, and he's also a worship leader. She said so many times that she wanted a relationship where she wouldn't have to play a role and she could just like be herself. I was like, girl, me too. And I just loved it, how there was no drama in her relationship. Come to find out, Adrienne and her husband Israel were friends for a long time. But while they were friends, he was married to another woman, okay? And apparently he was cheating on his wife, like his first wife from his first marriage, right? And apparently the same year he divorced his first wife, he married Adrienne. So like, wait, were you also cheating on her with Adrienne? Because we know you're a cheater. It's not a question of were you cheating on your wife. You've said it, everybody knows that you've been cheating on your wife, and that's why the relationship or the marriage ended. But were you doing that with Adrienne as well? And Adrienne always denied it, and she said that when he asked her to be his girlfriend, she asked to see the divorce papers first. So she made sure he was divorced before she accepted to be his girlfriend. I saw the interview that is making everybody, talk and everything. I really liked the whole interview.
Please just hear me out.
The part that is making everybody talk right now did make me tilt my head a little bit, but I thought it went really well with the whole topic of the full interview. What I remember from the interview was grace. We ask God for grace as Christians all the time, but it's also really important to be able to give that same grace to other people. And her marrying Israel, even though he had cheated in his previous relationship, was also her showing grace to Israel. So to me, it made sense. He was very faith-based, the same way that she was, and she hadn't found that with the previous guys she had dated, which makes sense. Mind you, this girl, her ex is Rob Kardashian, so of course there was this very specific I think song that she knew. Corridos, they call it corridos. Corridos. There's a specific corrido that she knew from her Pentecostal church, that he knew as well, and that made her feel like, oh my god, there's a connection there. To me, I'm like, this is why I can relate to Adrienne so much, because that's so me. Like, oh my god, he knows that song too. Like, to her, that cemented the relationship they had.
Yes. And my livelihood was attached to whether people thought I was a Christian or not, you know, or a superhuman Christian, by the way, like a super Christian. And I expected her, and what I shared with her was like embarrassing and painful and all that. And I expected her to go, see, all y'all, you know, I expected her to just go, all guys are the same. She leaned across the table and she grabbed my hand and she just started praying for me. This is when we're still friends. And I mean, I sobbed at that little table. And she just basically said, God, please help this man know that he's not what he's done.
Honestly, guys, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I felt like, how great would it be for me to tell my deepest and darkest secret, or something that, you know, I'm really, really guilty about, to somebody, and instead of, you know, backing off on me because of how bad that thing is, they lean against the table, hold my hands, and pray for me, and pray that God helps me see that I am not what I have done. At that point, I was like, this is beautiful. This is the best romance story ever, until I knew they were talking about cheating.
But that's so weird. I never would have. That's how I know moments like that are God, because that's not my natural instinct. My natural instinct is not to be like, let me pray for you. My natural instinct would have been to be like, oh no, this is exactly.
By the way, I know this about you.
Yeah.
Your biggest fear used to be when you were dating.
Yeah.
You know what you used to always be afraid if you were dating, that somebody would cheat on you.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Like you had a real
not just my biggest.
Guys, there's God in this. Honestly, that's what I think. Somewhere there's God in this. Let me just grab my Bible, okay? And let's read. I think it's in 1 Corinthians. That very famous verse that we all know. Okay, it is 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7. It says, love is patience, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. I have chills right now because honestly, that's what I saw in their relationship. What she showed him looks like love. I don't know if he shows the same to her, but as for what Adrienne did for him in that moment, it looks like godly biblical love. She was not easily angered. She did not keep record of his wrongdoings. She knew, you know, that this is wrong, but I'm not going to keep record of this. It did not delight in his evil. So while she's not encouraging him with the cheating, at that same time, she was happy that he was able to come clean with his truth. She has this knowledge, this hope, this idea that he will be better if he's able to not let that thing he did in his past be his full identity. She believed in him. She had hopes in him that he would be a better person once he will be able to move past what he did. And I think she was able to see it that way because of the profound regret he was showing. Because as he said, he was literally crying and mopping on the table about what he did. Truth be told, a side of me was like, at that moment, was he crying because he did say that his livelihood was connected to him being perceived as a good Christian. So was he crying because he was scared that he would lose everything, or was he crying because he genuinely regretted hurting that lady that much? So it's a bit ambiguous. It's more complex than what we would like it to be, honestly. But I do think that at that moment, Adrienne did show him true love, you know, Christian love. I'm not going to be reminding you every time you did this, you did that, because love simply does not keep record of wrongs. And everybody wants to be given grace in that way. Everybody wants somebody who will not hold them to their past. And mind you, I'm not saying hold them accountable to what they did in the past, but like, I'm not going to be reminding you every time.
You know, we all want to believe that like I'm the one for you, and that would be proof that I'm not the one for. I mean, there's so much I've delved into it, because to be honest, it still is a very real thing for me. Like that to me would be the end. Like that to me is like
Game over.
Game over. Yeah.
So she's letting us know that it's a deal breaker for her. Cheating is a deal breaker for her. And that's why I had respect for Adrienne when I saw this video, because she forgave him for cheating in the past. That does not mean she's going to forgive him if he does the same thing to her.
Well, hold on on that. Hold on. Now, hold on.
If he disregards that grace that she has given him and chooses to keep repeating those cycles, she's not just going to stay there and accept it. And I think it's also very godly to be able to do that. And I think Angie Martinez, the interviewer, is actually going to ask her about that and be like, okay, so when should you show grace to somebody? So let's watch that.
And if we can't be the grace of God, what I want from God is grace. I ask for grace every morning. I want that mercy and that grace. I pray that I can be that for, if anything, the person I married, you know?
I really hope this guy is not cheating on her. I really hope he's not cheating on her, because she has done the work. She has really done the work. And I hope he has done some of his work as well.
Well, I think about a woman who's trying to decide if she gives the man that she's with grace. How do you know when the man that you were with deserves that grace? I guess prayer is helpful to many, but I just wonder what would it be about that man that would, like, what would that man need to do to be a different version of himself?
I think that man would have to be willing to put real work in, real self-reflection in, have to listen to some difficult truth.
He still loves therapy. He does. Yeah. I love that about him.
Yeah.
And I mean, what is it going to take? It's going to take a partner to go, let's talk about that. Let's actually talk about it. And let's drill down, and it's going to suck for a minute. But what is known before this conversation ever happens is that I like you, I love you, you like me, you love me. And this is a part of changing the oil. This is a part of the maintenance of this vehicle called love and life and marriage and household that we've got.
I think this is the part that everybody's missing, because he said it. He said, you don't just give grace to anybody. You don't just lean over and pray for somebody when they tell you I'm a cheater, unless they've shown, they show that they are willing to do the work. They are willing to sit down and confront their bad behaviors. They're willing to sit down and get into therapy to understand, why do I do this and how can I stop? And you can actually see progress. That's the part that I haven't heard them talk about yet, because it's a good thing that they will show you that they're ready to make that change in their life. But I feel like what really warrants you giving grace to someone is that person actually showing you not only that they're willing to do the work, but you can actually see results from the works they're doing. And I feel like this works for every relationship, even non-romantic relationships, because I'm thinking about my relationship with my sister. I had really bad behavior sometimes that, made it hard for my sister and I to keep our relationship. But at one point, I got that click in my head where I was like, okay, I need to change these things. And my relationship with my sister grew stronger because she saw and acknowledged and recognized my efforts to be a better person. Yeah, so you have to have somebody who's willing, basically, before you give them grace. So what they're saying here is not, well, forgive a cheater because you're a good Christian, so forgive a cheater. They're saying there are situations in which there is space to give grace to the other person.
The person that goes, I'm going to walk with you as you just be and figure it out and change and evolve. I got you. You're winning. But it does take the work. Everybody.
I hope the work is showing results.
I always say this. I'm like, someone can tell you they want to change, but what are they actively doing to change?
That's the results.
Is the number one thing. The second thing I would say is, how have you changed? And do I see a change, whether it's like you see someone actively going to therapy?
Adrienne said exactly what I was saying. Like, it's not just about him showing that he wants to change. You need to be able to see some change in him as well.
Actually, what do I only ask?
Honesty.
All I ask for is honesty. Just tell me the truth. I can handle anything. I can't handle lies. Just tell me the truth. Anything else, I really can't. I do really good at handling.
She has boundaries there, like some very straightforward boundaries that, if she's implementing them the way she's talking about them here, I think the relationship, they're doing a really good job in their relationship in my view.
Thinking about, like, if I had to tell a young woman this, like, what I would tell her would be like, you have to actually see that they're wanting to change, that they're actively changing.
You can't want it for them.
No, you can't be setting up the therapy sessions for them. They need to want it so badly that, like, you're asking them what are they doing. They're like, I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, I want to be right. I want to get it right with you. Yeah.
I think women make that mistake sometimes.
Yeah.
You want somebody to be a version of something. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that...
I think that's the difference about her. She wants me to just be the best version for myself.
Whatever that is.
Okay, so I think this is where it stops for me. All in all, I think what Adrienne demonstrated to Israel is a great example of 1 Corinthians 14. Very obvious example of that. And like, it's very different from saying, well, he's cheating, but I'm just going to close my eyes on that. Or, you know, I want to be picked so bad that even though I know he's a cheater, I'm still going to be with him. This is a case where there was effort on both parts. She gave him grace and he puts in the work to change himself. She doesn't have to change him. He's working and has worked to be different, which is why he's not cheating in his current marriage. That's where giving grace to people comes in. Like who you were or what you did when you were 15, when you were 10, when you were 20, when you were 30, in your first marriage, in your first job, and who you are today is not the same thing. You made those mistakes to learn and do better now. And if I see in you that you want to change, you regret what you've done, and you are already putting in the work, that's when you're like, okay, yes, I'm giving grace to the right person right now. I thought I had a lot to learn from that conversation. There's this idea that Christianity and feminism cannot go hand in hand. And I think that is so not true. In Adrienne, I see a woman that has set clear boundaries. I see a woman that does not shy away from her femininity. I see a woman that is ready to give grace, but there are certain conditions to be met before that grace is given. I see a woman that is ready to compromise, but would not compromise her well-being and her boundaries. Like, she knows where the compromising stops for her. And I think that is completely in line with feminism. Just being able to have authority on your life, on your choices, and what makes you happy, basically. So yes, guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. It was really nice actually sitting with you guys and having this reaction, you know, conversation again. I've missed it, honestly. So if you guys have any other topics you would like me to discuss, let me know in the comments down below. And whatever you thought about this video, so let me know. You can give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you did not like it. Check out some of my other videos in my African Girls Perspective playlist. They're kind of old, but you know, some of them are really gold. And also like my vlogs and all of that, if you guys are interested in things like that. But yeah, keep the conversation going. If you're not subscribed yet, join the circle, please. Just join us, and so that we can have more of this conversation and I can feel motivated to make more of these videos. As always, keep feeling and flowing, and I'll see you next time on Talks with Rhonda. Bye.